When you drive along the freeways here in Southern California, you can't help but notice the huge mounds of trash like this. It's an eyesore, not to mention a health hazard. LA's freeway system has become perhaps the city's biggest garbage dump, and it's gotten a whole lot worse during the pandemic. Our investigative reporter Joel Grover went straight to the person in charge for answers.
As you exit the 101 freeway at Sunset Boulevard in Hollywood, you're greeted by tons of smelly, rotting garbage spilling right out onto the freeway. Apartments look out on the filth, and so does the First Southern Baptist Church.
You can smell it in the air sometimes.
Where John Henyard is the deacon.
To me, I'm looking at a landfill. That's what I see when I look across the street. I see a landfill.
Garbage now covers on and off ramps all up and down the 101 freeway. On the 170 freeway in the Valley, trash spills down the embankments, and trash greets visitors coming off the 10 freeway into LA's fashion district.
You know, I'll be honest, I think we can do a better job.
It's the responsibility of Tony Tavares, head of Caltrans for the LA area, to keep our freeways clean and safe. This is the 101 off-ramp at Sunset. Is this embarrassing to see?
It is embarrassing, and we're upset by the fact that that trash is there.
The amount of trash on the freeways seems to have gotten so much worse during the pandemic.
I agree with you.
The I-Team has been documenting trash piling up more and more on our freeways for over 2 years. Some dumped by the homeless, some illegally dumped by businesses and homeowners who don't want to pay hefty disposal fees. Trash that piles up so high it's often fuel for fires, like this one under the 10 freeway near downtown, or trash that dangerously falls onto the freeway.
It's depressing.
We had a period of time at the beginning of the pandemic where we were unable to pick up trash. Now we have such a backlog that we're having to do this very strategic plan.
But records obtained by the I-Team show trash on parts of our freeways hasn't been cleaned up since long before the pandemic. For example, that area around the 10 freeway near the Fashion District hasn't had a cleanup by Caltrans since 2018. And that 101 off-ramp near Deacon Henyard's church hasn't had a major cleanup since March 2019, a full year before the pandemic.
About 90% of that trash comes from homeless people collecting trash, bringing it to have a place to live, to sleep.
During the pandemic, Caltrans says it isn't asking homeless people to move off the freeways temporarily so it can clean up the trash, following guidance from the CDC.
We don't want to disperse these people into the general population and potentially expose them or others to COVID-19.
For areas without encampments, Caltrans says it's putting crews on overtime on the weekends to clean up the worst sections of the freeway.
But it ain't just here, it's everywhere. Everywhere you look, we just say, send help.
But help might not come soon. Right now, Caltrans says its work crews are spending only about 25 to 30% of their time cleaning up all this trash. The rest of the time is spent on road safety issues. The agency says once the pandemic is finally over, it hopes to focus on this out-of-control trash problem. For the I-Team, I'm Joel Grover.